Okay, now another major element to this that I discovered is that you're not going to be able to hide your feelings from them and your thoughts. They have thought and mind reading technology in addition to the fact that they didn't even need that technology, in my opinion, because demons living in you know your thoughts and they can convey that out to the demonic network. So if you're like me, and maybe a lot of people are not like me, but they get angry, and when angry thoughts cause thoughts of violence. And what they do in my case, see, they know that I'm a violent psychopathic murderer type, even though I haven't done that. They know that I have those thoughts. So what they try to get, that's one of the reasons why they roll out the police helicopters, or the reason why they roll out the security guards, because they know that I have the potentiality to be a criminal. And I've decided to be open about this. I have no criminal record. You can see my record is spotlessly clean, but I think there's a lot of people like that. They do have violent thoughts. They do have thoughts of, that place pissed you off, fine, pour gas all over it and burn it down. Or, that guy pissed you off, fine, get your car and run him over. And you have that thought in your mind. They can see those pictures in your mind. So be aware of the fact that you're not hiding that, and you're not hiding the fact that they pissed you off, if they pissed you off with something, because they know way more about you and your habits and everything, because we even keep that from ourselves. It's hard to really realize your own self and your own flaws, because it's hard to admit your flaws and your issues. So admitting and fully realizing when you're having very unflattering thoughts, like I said, thoughts of violence when something pisses you off, or other thoughts, perverse thoughts, whatever it is, they can see it, they know it. Don't think that they don't know it. So if you're going to try certain tactics, or you're thinking that, and that's another really important point, if you're listening to this, if you think that you're going to get away with breaking the law, you see, these creatures have to go by, even though they are desperate criminals. In reality, there's an overall reality about criminality, what they do about it, and the things that they control in society. And there's rules that they have to follow. And so, as a general matter, if you are lawful, they really can't. They can't just, come up with some fake reason and lock you up. If your parents or something commit you, like I think that's what happened with Frequency Fence, that's how you can end up committed. And then, and like I said, you're screwed. But besides that, if you are lawful in your efforts, that's what they say fighting the good fight is about, okay? So fighting the good fight means that you're not breaking the law, you're not committing acts of violence, you're not breaking the law, and as long as you don't do that, they can't come against you with something like prison or something else. Especially if you're a Christian, you're going to have an angel assigned to you, so you're going to have some protection. But it doesn't mean that you can't be put to death, because we know that the saints will be overcome by the devil and put to death. So some of the people, and maybe myself, will be put to death. As a matter of fact, I kind of like to joke, but I really shouldn't joke about it. But we know that they're going to be beheading Christians, okay? And I was just thinking, yeah, right, fine. I'm so miserable. I'll be the first in line. Sign me up, baby. Where's the guillotine? They'll be like, okay, they haven't had the people. Wait, there's some guy waiting outside lines trying to get in line. Okay. So in any case, the main thing is, if you lose your temper, you lose. And this has happened to a lot of people I've talked to. They've ended up in jail, and that they can really drag your ass through the ringer. So in all cases, remember, before the Lord, you are obligated to be obedient to the powers that be, that are ordained of God. See, it's important to know God's word, even though these are criminal, nasty, evil beings. Even Satan and all of his demons, those powers are ordained of God to be in charge of this world for the time being, for us what? Sinners. That's the whole purpose of it. But if you're a target, it's because they've identified you as an effective Christian or somebody else that they don't like for whatever reason, and you'll get the full attack. And it's a rough life, but from now until the day you die, what are you going to do? What's the end game? What's the point? How are you going to handle this? How are you going to play it? What's the end result? The main thing is being lawful and righteous in the faith of Jesus. That's the winning ticket. If you are righteous on the day that you die in the faith of Jesus, you're going to heaven. You won. You will never have to come back to the point of being miserably attacked by Satan's kingdom. There is still going to be some attack and some evil stuff going on because we still have another 1,000 years of wickedness in the earth, even though it'll be a much better place because it'll be the kingdom of the Holy Spirit, which will be headed up by Jesus Christ shortly. And then at that point, it's going to be a lot better than it is now with all these wicked powers like Bill Gates and all these crazy, weirdo, wacko, satanic people that are in charge of all of our society. So it'll be a better situation, but there'll still be some evil in the world. There might be still some targeting, but there won't be mass targeting because the righteous people will be in charge of the earth. The godly people, the Jews, will be in charge of the earth, and they will have, they'll be able to bust any of these people if they want to start up that whole gang stalking again. But they can't even do that gang stalking without massive, inter-societal network coordination. They might be able to pull it off in small gang and stuff, but I don't think that they'll be able to pull it off like they're doing it now with the street theater and all this other stuff, because those people will be quickly put out of business by the powers of God that will be ruling in the earth. That is the New Jerusalem, the new Israel in the earth. All right, so as a little bit more of a daily practical matter, I personally recommend a flip camcorder or flip video camera, whatever you want to call it. And the best one that I have found was the Panasonic. However, Canon might be coming out with a correction. In fact, if you can get the waterproof Canon, you'll get pretty much the best flip camcorder you can get, because that would have been the best if it wasn't for the major sound screw up, which you could not turn the wind function off on all of the Vixia video camcorders that Canon made. It's a really shame. All the ones like in the sub $400 range that were small and compact, you couldn't turn it off. Sound was ruined. So narration, like I'm doing right now, you'd be outside, wind blows, and there's no way to fix it in post, and you're screwed. So that's why I switched over to this Panasonic. My friend Iris from Boston, she helped me out with this, and back when boy, I tell you, things were really skinny back then. Although things are slightly better right now, just because I've been getting unemployment, and a little bit of help from a few people. But I tell you, having a camcorder out and ready has been one of my biggest tools, besides knowing the Word of God, prayer, and sanctifying my life, so that I am not a piece of garbage that Satan has every right to attack. So if you have a flip camcorder, one of the main things that I learned is that you have to have it on and ready to press the button, because you see a lot of times when I have the kind of stalking that I get is air stalking for the most part. And so what you get there is helicopters and various aircraft, mostly helicopters, like the main thing, like LAPD helicopters. Holograms, they're for the most part, okay? But what they would do is they would get me when I would come and go from establishments. So like as I would be walking up to go into a Starbucks or something else, a helicopter would come and start, and they time it perfectly. And that's how I knew it was a hologram, because they would also try to get me when I would come home. And what they would do is they would start it up so that they would time it so that it would fly directly overhead right as I come to the door. And it's just like a repetitive tactic to piss me off and to wear you down, like to make you feel like there's no there's no out, there's no recourse, there's no way you can get away from it. And by the way, that's another thing, in case you haven't found this out before, if you're watching this for the first time, you're new to being a TI, doesn't matter where you go, unless it's like way out in the boonies. But if you go to, like, you try to get away from, go to another country, you try to go, you know, some other city here in America, or, you know, or wherever you're from, you know, go to some, you know, nearby city, or maybe a faraway city, doesn't matter. They have, the network is everywhere. You're not getting rid of it. So that's another thing too, is that it can kind of piss you off and act as a psychological negative to the whole thing if in fact you do try to move to get away from it, and then you can't. So you pulled up all your routes, you know, took all the trouble to go to a different place, and it didn't help. You're still getting the same crap right in your face, targeting. So that can be like a kind of a negative. And that's not, I mean, if I really felt I had a better place to go, I probably would, but I just didn't get that feeling, you know, that I had a better place to go. So I just had to add my voice to that objection there. That guy's stopping in the middle of the street. Oh my God! And just as I walked by, this baby went, ah! Did you hear that? Anyway, fun on Ventura Boulevard. Yeah, this is a Saturday, and oh my God, there's another honker. Oh man, these people that park on the street, man, they stop traffic with no regard to the people behind. It's really weird. Okay, so now, so that's, you know, but to me, I kind of, you know, I realized that. See, I had done a little bit of research on this, and I already knew, because there was a lot of people telling me, you know, you gotta leave LA, man. It's like Serpent Central, man. Man, it's like Satan's main headquarters, man, Los Angeles. Dude, I told you, I know about that, but I knew that the targeting, they would keep that crap up no matter where you go, unless you go way out in the boonies, which is kind of tough. Unless you're somebody who wants to be first of all isolated, and then you know you have to have enough money to go out there and try that. You know, I mean, unless you're gonna, like, you know, I mean, you know, you have to know what you're doing. That's a huge deal, which I'm not gonna try. And not like that, but I mean, if I really wanted to, maybe I would, but I don't, because I said I don't feel any particular reason, and I don't think my targeting is going to be any worse or better. In fact, it could be worse in a small town where everybody kind of knows you, or you know, there's you know, or a smaller area, and the gang stalkers are dumber. So the dumber they are, the dumber crap, more overt crap that they might try, and in that case, it might suck even worse. So here in LA, at least, I know that if they target me, they better be professional about it, because otherwise they're going to be in trouble, because they know they got to keep their serpent ass overlords a secret, so they know all that, and so they got to be careful about what they do. So they're not going to try, like, really, you know, overt stuff and try, like, any stupid stuff where I could catch it on video and it would look really bad. So I think over here they're a little bit smarter about it. It's funny, I got this Porsche guy right here. Ooh, he's filled with Satan's spirit, and he can't stand my crappy Pormobile. And he's been zooming around trying to get away from me and not have to drive behind me, but it's just not working. And he just no matter what he does, somehow I'm still on the road nearby or even in front of him, and it just, oh God, it just drives him crazy because he spent all this money on this car, and man, it just doesn't want to drive around a poor guy like me filled with Christ's spirit. Okay, enough of the detour. But so anyway, yeah, so that's the thing about traveling. And but as far as the video camera goes, you know, it took me a while to figure this out, that you got to have it on and ready to go in any instance where you think it might be you know, you might get stalked by one of the things that they use against you. Like, if I was like this one guy who contacted me recently, and we were talking, and he was telling me that he was getting stalked by people saying a key phrase in front of, you know, they'd say like a key phrase, you know, like, you know, hey dude, you hey dude, and I'm not gonna say what because it includes cuss words, and I'm trying to tone down a little bit of that on this supposedly Christian channel. Okay, but the thing is that so they were trying to drive him crazy. Got a hair on my face. See, there's a hair on my face right when I'm trying to make a video. So they were trying to drive him crazy by this repetitive phrase, and what I was trying to tell him is that you should try to catch that on video and have it ready before, because you see, if you like try to wait until like the last second and then whip it out of your pocket and turn it on, no, it's got to be on and ready to be recording, or be recording as you're going in. Like if he knew, like if he's gonna walk into a store to do something, and he knew that somebody like on the way to the store, or somebody like right in the store was gonna stalk him, I would have, and that's another thing to use, is the cell phone or another small hidden camera, like maybe you could get a GoPro or something like that. But what's good is a cell phone, because then you're just holding it in your hand. There's no, it's like you're not like you're holding a camera and secretly filming anybody. I just turn it on and have it recording, and the demons in them know. And see, that's another important point. That if the demons in them know that you have a recording device, and they know that you're going to upload it to social media in a watchable movie, which is why I have 75,000 subscribers, even though my channel's highly shadow banned and they're unsubscribing people from my channel all the time. Which reminds me, by the way, check and make sure you're subscribed to my channel, because they're unsubscribing people left and right. People telling me that all the time. The number drops down, it's totally obvious. I would have been way over 100K by now, but they've minimized it. They did the same thing to James Bartley, because they really don't want his information out. He's talking about he's a full-on abductee, reptilian abductee, talking about the reptilians. They shadow banned his channel so bad, but he kind of doesn't make movies that are really that watchable, and maybe without a Christian audience, they don't watch his channel. But he still has a pretty good following. But maybe individually his movies get movies. You notice the tiny view count. I don't even think that's the accurate view count, but if it is, I mean that's tiny compared to other channels with less than half the subscribers that I have. So they're really limiting the amount of viewership that my channel has. But I've been dealing with that the whole time, and they're restricting it more and more. And I wouldn't be surprised if pretty soon, as James Corbett has been talking about, that they will eventually get rid of my channel, and get rid of all channels that they don't like, and the only people that'll be on YouTube are people that aren't doing any sort of truth revelation work, or even they can't get. I don't think it's pretty tough for them to get rid of channels like Fox or whatever, which are still partially sold out. Tucker's is usually good, but the crap they went along with the campaign, the election was pretty bad. A lot of people were griping about that. Oh, there's a Starbucks. A few seats outside. Better than that crappy one that's at the place where I usually went. The Wiener factory is gone. My dad and I used to eat at this little hot dog stand there called the Wiener Factory. It was there for years. They made great hot dogs. Realize about the situation that even now, everything and everyone is under tight God's control. Nothing happens that's outside of God's control. So keep that in mind as you go through your life as a TI, that if you're showing righteousness before God every day, acknowledging Him, thinking about Him, reading His Word, saying prayers, sanctifying your life, which means repenting from sin and doing what's right to the best that you can. You're not always going to be perfect, of course. You're going to fall down. You're going to commit the same sins. You're going to make mistakes. But if you're doing that, remember, even if the devil has made you a gang stalking victim forever, which he has to me, everything is still in God's hands. It's in His hands. So what do you think is going to happen in the end if you're righteous? So in all of this, The main thing is, why at the end of your life, which is coming a lot sooner than you think. You may think it's forever, you're going to live forever, it's way far away, don't have to think about it. Nope, it comes quicker than you think. Flash of an eye, I'm now 50 years old. I mean, I was just a young man, just 15, smoking weed and having a good time. Bam, I'm already like a middle-aged man, balding and everything. Okay, it goes by quick, is my point. You think it's never going to happen. 1 out of 1 person dies. Why go to hell the same as the people that are gang stalking you? Which is what's going to happen if you don't receive the salvation in Jesus Christ. And it's not too hard. God will know if you want to submit yourself to Him, your Creator. He will know. Say this prayer to be saved. Father in heaven, please save my soul by the work of your Son Jesus on the cross, and show me your pure words in the authorized King James Bible.